Okay, inflation and deflation. What does this mean? Inflation, you have money, right? But then let's say you're gonna spend a lot of money to purchase something for a price it's higher than what it used to be. Deflation, it's the opposite. You try to buy something, it's less money than what it used to be. Why is this? Simple. Inventory. What is stocked in the store? Is there a lot of it? If there's a lot of it stored and ready to be sold, of course, that will have a tendency for deflation. Of course, if a lot of it is being depleted and the inventory is empty, of course, there's going to be inflation. So the whole point of, let's say, the scarcity of money in bank accounts is so that people don't just run to the store and drain out the products really quick, where you would have like zero inventory. Like, that's the point, because say in communism, let's say, they try to like manipulate stuff, and so it doesn't do very well for inventory. It manipulates the market. It does not help it, because see, what's inefficient in business is that the inventory, what's in stock, gets turned over at a regular rate, not where it's like suddenly bursting and then suddenly collapsing. That's not efficient. That causes inflation or deflation, etc. Well, our economy runs naturally on inflation, so meaning that there's a tendency. It goes hand in hand with a tendency to reduce the inventory, which also reduces costs, but also there's costs associated with balancing it, so that when it's there, people can get it when they want it and not have to wait in line, which adds to the cost as well. So you have this system which, you get the prices. Okay. Now, how would you want it if, let's say, you wanted to avoid deflation? Well, the thing is, there's a lot of inventory, so meaning people haven't been buying as much as normal for how much is stored, and so the prices will go down. That's deflation, because there's a lot being produced. But at the same time, because those prices are going down, and these people who have paychecks and stuff, they need to make money so they can spend money, and so on. So, one reason for deflation is a tight credit market. People are not ready to spend their money in trades for goods, or maybe they just have less demand for them, like for gasoline or for cars or whatever, which also can be due to the credit markets. It's a feedback cycle. So, if you want an economy that's efficient, you don't have it where like you have a car, you stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. I mean, just like some people, they'll say, our economy is based on fear and greed. Fear and greed, fear and greed, fear and greed. I mean, how can that be efficient? Like, take a car and you slow it down and speed it up all the time, that's not efficient either. It's always been true that if you have a consistent inventory of predictable, flow, expectations of what you're going to get and what other people are going to expect, then things are going to go out. That does not mean you have to reduce your returns or the worth of their investment of capital. It just means you organize a system that is stable, the inventory is stable, the cash flow is stable. You have a good idea of where it's going. Now, this current system of stock markets and stock prices and stuff, they are based on the expectations of future, that's not to say those that exist now, but future revenues and expenses, because they try to look for profits, which is the difference of those revenues and expenses. And they'll try to auction the price upwards or downwards or whatever based on expectations and not the real thing that's already in the business. That's why you have all these people, so forth, investment bankers, trying to pull out money from businesses, only because people just don't trust it anymore, because other people don't trust it anymore. It just collapses like a snowball going down an avalanche or something. It's just not a efficient way to organize a system. It has to be based on cash if you're gonna get cash in return for paying your share. Or if it's like property, like a inventory of house, well then you purchase there, like you purchase the inventory, and then if the inventory grows, you get a return or whatever. This is the point. Well, you know, people try to like, oh, well, just increase the price when we think it's gonna be worth it. But we already know what the worth is. We just look at how much cash the business has and whatever. We don't have to estimate it. It's already, you know, no, as far as the, you know, cash. I mean, if you're just looking at the bottom line, how much, you know, return there is. If the cash goes up, well, then maybe you could get more from the company. But today's system, it's like you're auctioning, and it's two-way auctioning. It's not only up, but it's also down. This is what causes our insane system to collapse and boom and collapse. I mean, it's just like you turn on a spark plug, it's on, and so it booms, piston explodes, and it makes a lot of waste, just like internal combustion engines do. Then it collapses, and then it just has to go round and around and around. That's the business cycle we have. But it's more like a cycle of, you know, high wealth and low wealth than it is like, say, a cycle of businesses or something. It's a fluctuation of overestimated expectation or underestimated expectation or whatever. This is not efficient, and it needs to change, okay? But well, who's gonna change it? Is Barack Obama gonna change it? What about other world leaders? Will they change it? I mean, do they even have the idea, or are they just gonna print more money? They're gonna spend like just like consumers spend. They'll just borrow money like the same way we do. And is it gonna help our bank accounts? No. Borrowing will eventually drain out our money. We'll have to print, well, not just print, but people will have to issue more money, and we'll get, it's like a tax, okay? And the whole reason why we're failing here is because, it's not because of our balance or not being able to balance it. It's just the mechanism, the signal, the signals. I mean, imagine if you added to a traffic light system a blue light. Like, blue light can mean anything. It's like a question mark light. Why the hell do we need a blue light? Why don't we just have red, yellow, and green? Why not just green? And not all this stuff where, you know, we'll change the price if we think that the revenues and expenses difference is going to increase and we've got to have profit. You don't know that, but you know what cash there is now, so why not do that? That is more stable. Especially start a new business, you have no idea what those are. Yeah, but yeah, the cash is more reliable. Okay, that is because it's there. But then basing the price on something is an illusion, a figment of the imagination, a mirage. How are we gonna fix a problem if they're based on these non-existent things that we act to make it like affecting us? And it's just wrong to do this. This is what needs to change. Alright? I'm angry just as this guy is angry. And I'm only 22 years old. I understand some parts of the economy. I talk to people online on forums that debate this stuff. But this is not really that complicated of an issue if you just look at it at the big picture and look at the obvious. Because the obvious is like the truth. It's just there, but you don't necessarily see it until you get your blindfold off and notice how simple and plain, how brutal it is, because some people just don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. Alright.